Minister, it is unclear to me just how many times a sector has to sound the alarm before it is taken seriously and listened to by government. Time and time again, those within hospitality, tourism and retail have emphatically made the point that they are facing imminent and widespread closures, caused in part by the reintroduction of the 13.5% VAT rate. Indeed, we know from a survey of 180 Restaurant Association of Ireland members just last week that a staggering 86.7% say 13.5% VAT is the greatest threat to their viability. 73.9% say their business will be closed this time next year if the 9% VAT rate does not return. And 67.2% of the members say that they would have already closed their business if it were not for the ongoing VAT 9 lobbying campaign. This is a real crisis that is being made immeasurably worse by the stubborn and frankly incomprehensible unwillingness of government to address this key issue. I do not understand the rationale behind the refusal, and I would like some clarity to understand that from government side. But the fact of the matter is that these businesses, they create so much employment in urban and rural areas, and they do need to be protected. If we're to protect jobs, we need to make sure that our restaurants are protected and that they're allowed to operate with a fair VAT rate of 9%. We know that government has initiated several measures to support businesses, and that is certainly welcome, but unfortunately it's not enough. It's a bit like giving a patient something for his or her headache while leaving his or her legs or broken legs untreated. Indeed, I know from PQs I have submitted to the Minister for Enterprise, Trade and Employment that there have been 957 submissions from small and medium-sized business owners in Offaly to the government's increased costs of businesses portal, the ICOB. The total number of properties involved is 1,068, while there has been an almost equivalent number for County Laois. This highlights the ongoing economic shocks being felt by retailers and small business owners. The failure of government to reduce the 13.5% VAT rate to 9%, a move seen critically important by many within the retail and hospitality sectors. While I am sure that almost 2,000 small businesses in Laois and Offaly appreciate the support from the ICOB scheme, the fact of the matter remains that what we need is an immediate change to the VAT rate and escalated efforts to reduce the cost of energy, which are both major drains on small enterprises operating on razor-thin margins. I am talking to small and medium business owners on a daily basis, and they are telling me the same thing. Tinkering around the edges with schemes and supports may assist them in the short term, but ultimately the avalanche of costs will keep coming long after the support schemes have been closed. Businesses need to plan. They need to be able to plan going forward, and they need to know that input costs such as energy and outgoing costs such as increased VAT rates will not wipe them out. I have spoken to many employers who feel utterly demoralised by the cost burden of trying to operate and keep the doors open. Minister, it is time this government got real about the nature and the very serious threat that these sectors are facing. Again, we know from the Restaurant Association of Ireland research conducted by economist Jim Power that the economy will lose up to €288 million annually as a result of the closure of more than 200 restaurants, cafes and other food-led businesses so far this year. We also know from this particular analysis that every time one firm here closes its doors for good, it could result in the state losing out on a total of €1.36 million in value each year, and 22 people losing their jobs on average. In this sense, we can truly say without fear of exaggeration that the increased VAT rate is acting like a slow-release poison in the body of Irish SMEs and tourism. Government policy is killing the patient. Worse still is the fact that the government has the antidote to this poison, but it will not use it. I think what is profoundly distressing to many of these businesses is the fact that the warnings were so clearly laid out. This is not some unforeseeable crisis that we are dealing with here, Minister. In fact, immediately following the Budget 2024, the Restaurants Association of Ireland and others within the various sectors made the consequences of government's policy approach crystal clear. In October of 2023, the RAI said Budget 2024 failed to deliver enough significant measures to support small and medium-sized food-led and hospitality businesses across the country, adding that business closures will occur as a result of its lack of meaningful action. What did government do in response? Did it offer certainty by implementing a semi-permanent 9% VAT rate that would have enabled critical future planning and certainty within the sectors already beset by globally high levels of energy prices? No, it did not. In a sense, it cut off its nose to spite its face. It devised and implemented supports and various schemes while leaving the key issue go unaddressed. Minister, there are approximately 18,670 active businesses within the Midland counties of Offaly, Laois, Longford and Westmeath, and they employ over 72,467 people right across the region. You are well aware of the challenges that those businesses are facing, entirely unrelated to the crippling level of VAT many of them are paying. In the broader context, we have known for years now that despite Ireland's reputation as one of the world's most globalised economies, the majority of private sector workers are employed by indigenous, non-exporting firms and non-exporting SMEs. Government itself was at one point capable of recognising how these numbers highlight the importance of domestic demand for sustaining and generating employment within the SME sector. This is not rocket science. No sector can survive the endless onslaught of high VAT rates and utility costs, the energy costs that are coming in. Cash reserves and savings are being poured away, just trying to stay afloat, pay wages and keep doors open. The solution is here before us, and it merely requires political will. It is way past time to signal the end of the 13.5% VAT rate. If the government fails to do this, then I have a request to the Minister. Will the Minister come with me to speak face to face to the many business owners across Laois and Offaly who are about to call it a day on their businesses and on their dreams? And will he explain to them why those dreams are being sacrificed for a policy that makes absolutely no sense socially or economically?